What's up, everybody? So, we got ourselves another oh-so-wonderful, phantasmalicious, awesome-tastic, orgasmalicious GuildWar. And honestly, the first thing I'm really just going to say, I really don't like how premium this team kind of looks just to fight one unit, really. Yeah, I'm using Edward here to go into Lua, because quite frankly, I think she's probably one of the most cancer characters that we've ever gotten. I don't understand why the hell this unit exists. So, we're going into Lua, Savior Adin, and Mercedes. So my goal is, I'm going to use Roana for sustain, I'm going to use Unbound Knight Arowell for defense, and I'm going to use Edward to deal all of the damage. And honestly, it sounds like it's slow. It's really not as slow as you might be thinking. And that's mainly just because Edward is not weak. Some people like to think like Edward's weak because like on defense you can easily wall him out with like one green unit to bait him, and then he just feels like he doesn't really ever ramp up fast enough and he doesn't go through his stuff fast enough. But if you are using Edward, you have the luxury of having soul burns that also like reduces how much time you have to wait for your S3. You are using him into specific debuffs. In this particular case, it's against Lua. She will always hit him, and she will also always trigger his S2. Well, if you don't get 15%, that is. Which, oh, surely that's not going to happen here. Not going to happen here at all, man. We got 0 effect resist. Why would that happen? That just sounds stupid. So, yeah, we've already dealt with the Mercedes here, and... oh, what was I just talking about? I hate this game. So, yeah, now that we've dealt with the Mercedes, which honestly, even Mercedes wasn't so much of a threat, because even if we got Magic for Friends a whole lot, that's why Roana's there. Roana just like reduces so much of the damage. This team is Team Tank, but we're not really going into like super annoying, oppressive tank units as well. We're still doing decent damage. Because, yeah, we're at almost 25 turns in, and the fight is already over. You can usually have like yourself a good time for some Guild War fights if the main fight is generally over in like the first 20 turns. So yeah, this was like a few turns more than that, but yeah, I'd still say this is a pretty decent speed for just going in with pure raw tank. So yeah, works really well. Edward is an amazing counter to Lua. Still terrible unit though. Lua, I mean, by the way. So, now we're fighting Zeo. And the goal here was I was manipulating how fast all of my other units were, because he always targets whoever is the fastest on the bar. And for these particular characters I'm using, the fastest is Blood Moon Haste. Now, a nifty little thing that I wasn't even thinking about was because Ran gives himself attack buff, I kind of thought that Arby was going to be the initial target because he would already have a really inflated attack stat. But I guess like either this guy's Ran was actually a DPS Ran with fairly decent attack stats, or the attack buff really made that much of a difference. Either way, it doesn't matter which way it goes, because if I went into the Arby, I'd still get the Blood Moon Haste buffs from the S2, and then we would still go into the like it would still all work out really. So wonderful fight. That was over in 9 turns. Yay! Countercleave is fun. Now, here's a fight that I honestly didn't really even think too much of, because I was wanting to use a different team. I could have very well used pretty much the same team I used before with Edward in it, but I just didn't want to do it. So here I utilized Dark Corvus to tank the Adin, and because I'm rocking the anti-crit artifact on Last Rider Krau, it's really bad that I can't quite remember the name of it because I almost never deal with this kind of stuff, and Proof of Valor on Dark Corvus. Now, all of this here, he ends up like just taking nowhere near as much damage. However, that Charlotte is on injury, and it does kind of spook me a little bit. I really didn't have any reason to be spooked by it, but I still think like the best option for like the first unit that needs to go is probably Charlotte. So here I honestly, I could have just opened up the menu to see like where the Lua was in terms of where she was on her skill bar, because this is an entirely unnecessary risk to use Krau's S3. But like, hey, it all works out. Time to go ahead and delete Charlotte. And with that, we've essentially already won. We can still take a few risks, though. But, like, the biggest thing that I've noticed from these Adins so far, none of them are really utilizing strategies that gives them attack buff. For example, this Adin right here is straight up using Kairon's artifact, Shepherds of the Hollow. That does not give attack buff. Attack buff is huge. And when you don't have attack buff, you are missing so much damage, it's unreal. So, like, right here. Yeah, that only did, like, 4k, even to, like, my tanky units, and then everybody else is still kind of fine. And, oh, looky there. Time to die. And with that, this fight's already over. And just for those of you actually paying attention, I do edit through this fight just to speed up the Lua fight, because, like, this is, like, an additional minute and a half or something of just nothing happening. So, round 2. Round 2 is actually really, really, really fun. It was a lot of fun, actually. So, Zio goes into Shadow Knight Pyllis. She's the fastest unit. And this Zio was also rocking a lot of effectiveness, because he actually pushed her back. He's also running Bloody Rose, or Blood Rose with Melissa's artifact. You know, that unit that's getting buffed for a 4th time, for some reason. And then there's... So right here, it's like, it looks kind of bad, but Roana, just being the amazing healer that she is, I'm in complete control of this situation. Because, like, just these little bits of heals, and just going into Senya, because of the counter that she has, like, okay, cool, I'll take them free heals. And straight up, even if the Zio did silence my Pyllis, I think I would have still been okay. I really do. So, and then he goes into her, and hey, that's even more healing from the Roana, because that is a follow-up attack. And now it's time to S3. And I think we do maybe 2 more, or like 1 more S3. Yeah, we do 1 more in this fight, and we've already won. But, like, God, it's so satisfying using, whenever you get the opportunity to use Lionheart in the Guild War settings. Because I usually don't get the opportunity to use her, because we're almost always fighting Apocalypse Ravi, and anytime I fight Apocalypse Ravi, I usually lose that battle of attrition because I'm not doing enough damage, and she's taking injury damage, and then she eventually gets bursted down, which is really sad. I hate that about, like, Lionheart. I would have used her for so many other fights, but sadly, that's just how it was for a lot of the time. And with that, folks, that is round number 2. Kind of odd that, like, all of these matches so far have had Zio in them. I almost never see him on defense, but he is a lot of fun to fight on defense because you have to think it through a little bit. Case in point. So, who is the fastest unit? I believe it was Doris. I can't remember. I can't remember. Either way, we're still really good here, and Arowell just got her turn in. We can do a shield right here with the S3, and because of that, like, even if that was like a Giga Chad APOC Ravi with like a ton of crit damage and stuff, cool, now you have to go through a shield. Cool. So we're 4 turns in, and I've already kind of secured my victory, because we're rocking Injury Alencia. 2 more hits, really, on that Ravi, and she can't do anything. And then the only damage dealers that you really have are going to be Zio, and it's going to be Savior Adin. And Savior Adin is already kind of gimped because she's not attacking a dark unit, because she just deals more damage to dark units, and she cools down a little bit faster. But, yeah, we're totally fine in this respect. And, oh wow, Crimson Seed just keeps procking, huh? Man, sure is a good thing that SG's got their finger on the pulse of the game, and they're gonna nerf that. Because, man, I don't know where I would be right now if, you know, Crimson Seed was any more broken than it already is. God, I'm so glad they decided to nerf it. SG, why? Why are you doing all this stuff? Do you really want us to just, like, quit? Or do you hate us? Like, what is this? I've said this before in the past, that I think a lot of the decisions that they're doing is not even incompetence anymore. I legit think a lot of this stuff is intentional and it is malicious. Like, I can't give you a reason as to why they're doing it, but, like, why are they doing this kind of stuff just to, like, piss us off? And then also, straight up, apparently the LQC skin got, like, pushed back 2 weeks. It's just like, they're just doing everything in their power to piss us off right now. And I don't understand why. But, okay, so either way, the reason why we had withhold Alencia's S3 for so long that we did was really just because Zio had Deify on, and then he would just take less damage. So, like, now he's so ludicrously low, any single hit will kill him now. And, like, everybody is still looking, like, really good on all of their HPs, pretty much except for, like, Arowell, because the initial hit of Zio's S3, it's not almost never going to kill, but it does actually do, like, a decent amount of damage. You should really never discount it or not think about it, because if you just completely ignore it, that's a very good way to get yourself killed. And, yeah, with that, we are done with this fight. Oh, man, I'm so glad they're nerfing Crimson Seed, because, like, dude, Crimson Seed procced every single hit that I hit the Ravi. I'm so glad it's getting nerfed. Oh! For real, what the hell? And so then we cap off the end of the Guild War with a good old traditional Lewis and Yeshu. Are you surprised? Yeah, I'm about as, like, sick of this meta as I'm sure everybody else is of fighting it or doing it. Because the only thing that's unique here is the units in question that we're fighting were just obscenely slow. And because of that, and the Lua didn't have Guiding Light, I can just go straight into the Lua. So now that Lua's dead, I really have almost nothing to worry about. Oh yeah, Choux is still doing a thing? Okay, cool. I don't care. Like, I have pretty much full health here, and I'm not afraid of anything that they're going to throw at me. And also, I think this might be some kind of meh damage. Because, I don't know, 2k on a Pyllis with no defense buff? I don't know, that feels kind of low. But either way, yeah, she also missed on Arunka when it came to provoking. So I was like, yeah, I can just continue to go into this Choux. And pretty much, like we've kind of established in a lot of the fights, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced it as well, as soon as Choux is dead, you really have nothing to be scared of. Because, you know, she's Charles's daughter doing Charles shit in a better kit in every conceivable way, because SG really knows how to balance. And yeah, that was 16k, but that was also through a miss, which is pretty impressive whenever you miss and still do 16k. That's nice. That's nice. I kind of hate those prerequisites. I hate that you have to do you can do your retard damage, but only if they have a barrier. And that's honestly kind of hard to control, especially whenever the other anti-barrier units just straight up get rid of the barrier and they just deal damage, like Barrier Inversion. Barrier Inversion, I think, is vastly superior to what Arunka has right now. And with that said, folks, that is the Guild War. So, I don't know, I've got just a minute or so to really talk about it. So how about them balance changes that are coming, folks? Yeah! What the fuck? So the only one that even remotely looked interesting was Tywin's, or Ambitious Tywin's. And the only reason why that one's interesting is because it's showcasing a spotlight on how fucked the effectiveness and effect resist system in this game is. Nobody likes it. It's fucking garbage. Everybody's upset with 15%. They don't like it. So they keep doing mechanics that completely bypass the means of 15%. He's going to have Enrage, so then he just does his shit. Like, I honestly don't understand at this point. Like, if you guys hate 15% and effectiveness and effect resist so much to the point where you just want to, like, bypass your own mechanics, why don't you just, like, do an actual fix to the effectiveness and the effect resist system? Because, like, I've heard reports of some people in, like, the 290s or whatever of effect resist being, like, destroyed by debuff related units. That's not right. Something like that should straight up never happen. Ever. because it's already really, really difficult to get a lot of ER, and you're not giving us the means of combating it with, like, stacking more ER. Also, straight up, why the hell do we not have more Bastions of Hope? What the fuck? Like what is this? It doesn't make any sense. But then again, maybe it's just intentional. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this Guild War. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful one. Later.